Welcome to my studio and welcome to Drawing in the Now. And the thing that I really try to remind people is that most art classes that you would take, the focus is on technique or composition, um, uh, learning how to use different materials. And what this is different is helping you learn how to use really, really simple lines and shapes to actually bring about harmony in your body, to restore balance, to get rid of inaccurate beliefs. So last class, which was, I do the first and the third Mondays of the month. So that was the first Monday of the month. This is the third. So at that first class, what we did was we focused on individual hands. The very first activity in the I Create What I Believe program. So what we're doing is we're using the activities, the I Create What I Believe activities, to help, and we're doing it in a very concentrated way, and simplified way. So each class I will present not a whole activity, but if there's like in the first activity, there's 3 versions. So the first class I did the version 1, and today we're going to do version 2. And everything flows upon, grows upon what was before. So individual hands, and the activity is called Just Scribble. And that's exactly what we do but it's not mindless scribbling. It is scribbling with the intent of really activating your conscious mind. So that's what we're doing is working on activating our conscious mind. And so here we go. So the first thing I'm going to have you do is we're going to do the second version, like I said, which is 2 hands. So
in each of these classes, I'm going to demonstrate and guide you through an activity.
Whoa.
Talk about how you apply this to your life.
Wait a minute, what's going on?
And
I'm not sure.
So we're gonna do.
Oh, Pam, do you have another video running in the background, maybe?
I think I do.
Okay, so what I'm going to say is disconnect and then reconnect, but make sure you don't have that in the background because that's crazy.
So,
all right. So in Just Scribble, version 1, we did individual hands. We worked with the non-dominant hand, then we worked the dominant hand. Today, we're going to do 2 hands together. Now, what I want you to do is that when you're doing the activity is I'd like you to keep your eyes closed. So that's going to increase your sensory awareness of what's going on. And the question you want to be asking yourself as you're doing this is what feels the best? What just, like, oh, wow, I really like how this feels. So, and why am I saying that? Well, what happens is that when you are scribbling in this manner, you can activate your conscious mind. And the minute you activate your conscious mind, your brain starts dumping oxytocin and dopamine into your system. And those are the feel-good drugs. Those are the really makes you happy. The other thing that actually happens simultaneously is these 2 parts of our mind work in an either or capacity. So if you have activated your conscious mind, you have at the same time suspended the subconscious mind, which has all those tapes, that negative chatter, all that is unplugged. So it becomes a really nice experience. So I'm gonna demonstrate. You can do it along with me, or you can watch and then I'll guide. So the first is you can take 3 deep breaths beforehand if you want, or you can just take 1 deep breath, make sure your eyes are closed, and then allow your hands to do anything they want. They have to be moving simultaneously, but they don't have to be doing the same thing. And once again, you're looking for the movement, the shape. Is it circular? Is it straight? What is the pattern that gives you the greatest pleasure? And when you have that feeling, you've been able to isolate that, then open your, open your eyes and look at what you did. So did you do it with me, Zena?
No,
I'm-
I was watching you first,
Okay, great.
so
Okay, great.
I can
So
do it
now-
with Pamela now.
Yeah, exactly. So we can all do it together. Just a minute.
Just call me Pam.
All right. So you close your eyes, you take a deep breath, and then the word is you allow your hands to do whatever it wants. Know that they need to be moving simultaneously, but they do not have to be doing the same thing. So take a breath when you're, and just let yourself explore what your system wants to be doing and what it doesn't want to be doing. And see if you can identify the moment that you actually activate your conscious mind, where you feel that deliciousness happening and you feel yourself coming together in a more harmonious and balanced manner. When you feel like you have a sense of that, then, open your eyes, raise your hand, and we'll keep going. Thanks for doing that, Pam.
No problem. I got lost for a minute.
That's okay. That's all right. All right. So, Zena, what was your experience? Zelda's, thank you. Zelda.
You want to see my pictures?
Oh, I'd love to. Oh my goodness. Now let's see.
It's not coming through.
No,
It's not coming through.
I'm not seeing things are breaking up.
Here, and maybe I can let me try to turn the background off. Okay.
Yes. Now we can see you. Now we can see that. Great. So look at that. And it's almost like a tower of curves. So what did it feel like?
Yeah, and I'm all on one side of the page,
Well, that's true. That's true.
which is kind of strange. Because I had the whole page, but I only.
No, it's not strange. What I want you to realize is that we are getting to see how our brain is wired. We're getting to see how what parts of it are wired in a really good way and what ways it's not wired in a good way, and that those are the stumbling blocks we keep having to go over and over and over. So you didn't do anything wrong. Your scribbling got you to see that. Okay, so that was is that on the right side of your paper or the left side?
Yeah, it's all on the right side. Yeah.
It's all on the right side. Okay. And the right, the right side of your paper, do you feel like that is your dominant or your non-dominant hand? Do you feel like you're drawing from your linear brain or your creative brain?
No, it felt very creative. I felt like I wanted to make a lot of I was making like music notes and I thought I was in the middle of the page. I'm surprised it was as narrow as it is because it felt like I was
Was
using the page.
what? Yeah, well, but it's not that you know, no, you were using this scribbling is letting you see how things are wired behind the curtain. This is important. And you don't want to just say, oh, I should be all over the page. It should be balanced. It should be spread out. No, look at that. There is a specific focus there. There's a specific direction. And the thing that caught my eye right away was the fact that it was like a tower. It had all these circular movements, but it was tall and was narrow. And so it was like, wow, that is a lot of focus. So learn from your scribbling. Don't try to change your scribbling to how you think it should be. There's two words I want to.
No, not what I thought it should be, just what I thought it was. I was surprised.
Yeah. Oh,
I
hey.
felt like I was using the page. And then when I looked at it, I was only using this much of the page. So it just surprised me, that's all.
Okay. Well, good. And, maybe you can take that metaphor into your life where, you might be thinking you're, covering all the bases, but maybe you're not.
Ah,
Maybe you're not. And
yeah.
that has to do with, early childhood programming of our mind. So that's where this, at least for me, this is where it gets really delicious, where you get to see, oh, maybe that's why that wasn't working. Or, maybe that's why. So, Pam.
Well, here's mine.
All right.
And I found the left hand, the non-dominant hand, was a little hesitant, but doing scribbling, and the right hand felt confident it knew how to scribble. And then I found both hands started doing curlicues together.
Good.
And I would tend to say I'm in a very linear place today. So, to get into the conscious mind is a bit of a challenge.
Okay. All right. So in that, when we're talking about what we're trying to do is we're trying to move away from the reactive mind into the conscious problem-solving mind, because it's only when we're here can we implement change in our life.
Right.
This is like a recording device. What goes in is what comes out. No thinking takes place here. No strategizing, none of that. That's why I was saying, what feels the best? How do you know you're here? Now, it's not that this part of our mind is bad, because think of in terms of, if you start learning to play the piano when you're like 4 or 5 years old, and by the time you are in a teenager or 20 years old, you really, really have a grasp of that instrument. That's what this does. It takes in the data, gets the technique, and then it'll repeat it. But it doesn't change. If you want something to change in your life, you have to be able to know how to activate this part of the mind at will. So what I want us to do the activity again. And this time I want you to really pay attention to your breath and the rhythm that seems to evolve as you do the scribbling. Does that make difference? Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm going to do it at the same time. And take a breath, close your eyes, and really go deep into yourself so that you have a sense of your breath moving with the movement, or the breath actually moving the movement. and just let yourself drop into there deeper and see what happens. And know that every time you do this, it might be different. But over time, you will definitely start seeing a pattern that is unique to you. And that pattern actually helps you activate your conscious mind and activate, activate your authentic self. There's a lot of craziness going on in the world these days. And the more you are able to go into yourself this way, the less you are hindered by it. The just being able to, and what I like about this is right now we're learning it on paper with crayons or pencils or whatever. But once you get a sense of that pattern, that one that is either tall and narrow or spirals or whatever it is, that you can do that with your finger on the palm of your hand. You can do it on your leg. You can be kids that are hair twirlers. What do you think they're doing? They're doing their circles. So we want to be able to learn the activity in its basic form, which is the crayons and the paper. Then we want to be able to look at where could we use this to keep our head screwed on straight. And then why does it work? Why does simple scribbling in a reflective manner make such a huge change in our life, within ourselves and within our life? Well, the reason is that this part of the mind, the conscious mind, is activated with awe, wonder, and discovery. So by you just asking yourself this question of what feels the best? Do I like it this way or do I like it that way? You are in an inquisitive and reflective mode. And this part of the mind can't do that job. So you automatically come over here. And while you're there, all those tapes are suspended. There's 2 words today. 1 letter difference, but it explains these 2 parts. This is should. This is where you should do this. You should follow this. You should have it this way. You should. This is could. This is where you get to decide. Do you want to be, a skydiver? Do you want to be a ballet dancer? Do you want to be, what is it that is in the heart, just the core of your heart that you really want to do? And when you do it, you just feel so whole and so right. Now, you obviously do not have to be a seasoned artist in order to do this. In fact, I've taught this program to Head Start teachers, preschool teachers, and they found that children as young as like 2 years old could figure out how to activate this. They knew when they were there, and they knew that when they felt icky, they were here. And all they had to do is go get a clipboard and crayons, and they could get themselves over here. Why were they doing that? They were doing that because when they got here, they felt happy. All of that nonsense, all of that criticism disappeared. And they got to just be who they are. If we can increase the number of people being authentic, we might have a chance of changing some of this craziness that's going on in the world. Not by us trying to change them, but by us changing ourselves. And knowing that then everybody that interfaces with us is invited to also explore themselves. Not because we're talking about it or anything, they will feel the difference. You will feel the difference. Questions? Who wants to speak first? Zelda? Did I say it right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm a hypnotist,
I saw
which
that.
is partly why I was so intrigued by this, because I love anything to do with the unconscious and conscious mind. I was to the understanding that when you are focused on something, like we are focused on our drawing with our eyes closed, then our unconscious mind is running in the background. It's taking care of things, because that's almost a hypnotic state, is when we get into a focus of closing our eyes and going on a journey. Meanwhile, our unconscious mind is taking care of things.
Yeah.
So
What's your question?
no, but that you said something almost, it sounded to me the opposite. So I'm trying to maybe it's not the opposite, but I'm trying to make sense of.
Okay, well, the subconscious mind does, an incredible number of things. We're talking, we're here, we're listening, we're translating, we're sitting, we're drinking water, just all of those little details, keeping our heart going the right, keeping the body temperature the correct. So those are in the background. And this part of the mind is wonderful unless it has some inaccurate beliefs and perceptions. Now, remember, those are beliefs and our perceptions that are stored here, start downloading into our system in our third trimester, when we're not even born. So we're saying the third trimester. And those happen by our parents, first of all, our mother's experience of life and her interpretation of it is transmitted through the placenta to the fetus. And it's like, this is fact, this is the deal. This is, the information. And that information could be 100% accurate for the mother and 0 accurate for the child. So what happens, you then have what, it's like I refer to as a third world war. You have this one having one agenda and this one having a different agenda. And so who wins? Who wins? So my understanding in hypnosis is one of the things you do is you bring the focus together, and the person experiences calm and harmony because you don't have this battle going on.
Yeah.
And so, but you want ultimately the individual to be able to activate this, because it's there that you can say, well, no, I don't want to be a firefighter. I want to be, this other thing, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. So this is where we get to change. This does have a lot of important data. But when you feel yourself overwhelmed or frustrated or just is having a really hard time, that's, in my mind, that's where we're stuck here. And like you said, this will do its work. It'll help us, remember to, turn the water off and turn the water on or whatever. But it doesn't give us an opportunity to change things. So, yeah, I mean, that, it will be working in the background. I hope my system is working well in the background, because if not, I will not be sitting here talking with you or explaining anything. I mean, none of this is possible without this. So for you, I would say just really get a deep sensory awareness of what it feels like when you activate this, because it's instantaneous. And you can just go from being depressed and buried under, just all kinds of stuff to like, oh, guess what? That's not my problem. That's not me, I don't have to deal with it. That there's a lot of things I have to deal with, but I don't. So it's getting things accurate. So then what you have is the two are synchronized. And it's like, to me, it's like when you look at couples skating on the Olympic level of just where they breathe together and they move together. So we're not talking about two skaters, but we're talking about two hands. And so we want to get to the place where we can pull everything together and it be synchronized. Because then you're not losing any, are you using any brain cells or any energy that you don't have to. And you can keep steering your boat in the direction you want to go. So does that fit with your understanding at this point?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, good. So Pam, how was the second round?
Actually, the left and right were kind of doing the same thing, going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down.
Okay,
And then finally did some circles.
and how did it feel when you did it feel different than the first time you did it? And
Yes, yes.
okay,
I'm
what
not
is-
sure why, but it did.
doesn't matter, you don't have to know why, but I want to know what is the difference? Or what was the
The
difference?
two were synchronized.
Yeah.
We're working together
On the second one?
on the second one.
Yeah, okay,
The first time it finally came together. Not in the beginning, but as we proceeded to the end, it was doing the same thing.
okay, well, good. So pay attention to the amount of time that it takes you to go from these doing their own thing and them being synchronized and working together in a productive manner. So, right, and all you have to do is, put your crayons and paper by your dinner table and just play with it and see how long it takes you to activate that. And once you activate it, how long can you maintain that mind state? Because that's the trick. And it really, doing it and playing with, the different forms will help you get a sense of the style. But the main thing I want you to be able to feel and implement really well in your life is being able to activate the conscious mind and then be able to stay there no matter what is happening outside of you.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Yes.
good. All right, so any questions? Yes, let me see. Oh. Now you did that, those were the two hands the second time around. Yeah, okay, so
Similar.
you went
So they
from-
each had their own thing this time. They're very similar, but this one's a lot looser.
yeah,
The left is looser, but they're similar. And then they came into a heart.
oh,
And I
Oh, yeah.
felt myself pulling into a heart, and that's where I ended right there.
Oh, wow.
that is
I
lovely.
just felt love, and I made this heart, and then that was
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you, there's a gal that has, she's not with us tonight, but she's been attending these classes. And one of the things she started doing was, colorizing her scribbles. And she just had her colored pencils at the table while she was eating or doing something, and she was just filling it in. And it was like, it brought in a whole new dimension. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that depending on who you are and where you are, your body responds to the different elements of art, which means line, shape, color, texture, and sometimes dimension, meaning it's not just a flat surface. So, if you are so inclined, get out your colored pencils or get some colored pencils and, fill in the spaces and see what happens. And the other thing I would recommend is if you decide to do that, copy your drawing first and then work off of a copy so that you can, if you decide that, oh, no, I don't like that color, it's like that, all right, you have a lot of copies. You can just play with it. Remember, the word we're looking for is explore. You're exploring the inner dimensions of your mind and your conscious awareness through the simple activity of allowing a crayon or pencil to move around on paper. And that's what we're going for. We're going for that sweet heart harmony that just says, we're okay. We're okay. And who would have thought that we could do this just with scribbling?
It's amazing.
It is. It's truly amazing. Truly amazing. Okay, so I think, unless you have any more questions, we're done for today. We have, now remember that there's, let me get that piece of paper that, okay. There is, the class is on the 1st and the 3rd Monday of the month. This is the 3rd Monday of the month. And there's actually, I think, 2 more Mondays before then because of the way the calendar went. So our next class would be August 5th, would be the 1st Monday of August. And then August 19th is the 3rd Monday of the month. I look forward to seeing you guys again at some point. And if you do some exploring or development on what we started here, please, share it, share it. I think it's really important for people to help, to share because it helps everybody. Okay. That's it. I will see you. Yeah, you're welcome. And I'll see you in a few weeks. And I'm so glad that you decided to join us. This is very good.
Yes, thank you. It was fun.
Good, good. All right.
All Nancy's activities are fun.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I just found it last night, so I was really happy that it was today. I didn't miss it.
They're fun and challenging with messages.
Okay, the other thing you can do is that if you go to the website, the icreatewhatabelieve.com website, there's a place that says Drawing in the Now. And if you hit that link, it's going to take you to a page. And there's a bunch of classes that we've done that are archived. And so you can go and explore them if you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, so you figured this, you saw this last night, you're here today. And if you have a desire to play with some more of it, that's the place to go until the next class.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Take care.
Nice to meet you both.